Hello, it's me. Welcome to July. It's like a gazillion degrees. It's so hot. Well, I'm sweating as we're filming this, so it's a little bit too hot for me right now. Anyway, I'm Sarah Baxley. Welcome to Pinkie the Bear, my channel. I'm here with your astrology forecast for the month of July. And before I break into, okay, so it is eclipse season again, in case you didn't get the memo. There are two eclipses in July. We have a solar eclipse, which is a new moon, and a lunar eclipse this month, which means there's going to be a lot of event-based activity this month. This is a big, huge month. But before I get into the themes of the month, I just want to give a couple quick little announcements. The other thing is, most of you I think know, I don't film out of my office because the lighting's terrible, and and it would not look cute if I filmed in there. I'm trying to kind of play around with it, but I have an office down here in Southern California. I do astrology sessions, both remote through the computer, as well as out of my in-person office. I also do Reiki sessions out of my in-person office. You can find me at pinkiethebear.com if you're interested. That's that. So, with both of those things out of the way, the two upcoming themes for the month of July are, I don't know, I didn't write them down. Okay, break. Alright, so the two upcoming themes for the month, for the eclipse month of July, are 1, spontaneous surrender, and 2, breaking free. Okay, so welcome. July is this is a huge month. This is a really big month. Yeah, it's eclipse season. So that's the equivalent of getting in a roller coaster. And those one roller coasters where it's it's an upside down roller coaster, and it is the head thing that comes over and you strap it on, right? And it locks. But it's only the top one. There's no bottom one. Have you gotten in those roller coasters like that before? Where they come down and then you can hear them click. They go click, 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 click. And then you hold on to it, and you know you're gonna flip upside down 3 times. But then they didn't even give you a there's not even a little seatbelt or something in case this weird thing comes unclicked. Maybe this is just me that gets paranoid about this. But then you're okay, and you hear it slowly going back, and you know it's gonna go. And then while you're going upside down, you're okay, well, hopefully at least gravity holds me back since I don't have another seatbelt in case this comes unlocked. Okay, well, I just explained my whole my whole roller coaster experience. That, my friends, is what eclipse season feels like. For those of you whose charts are either you or someone that you know is going to be directly affected by the events that happen this month, and it's going to be a really big month. And I'm not going to necessarily say it's going to be an easy month for those of you that are getting directly affected, but what I will say is the events that transpire this month, and there's 2 eclipses, so you can bet that this is definitely, there's going to be event-based activity going on this month. It's not just going to be psychological shifts or whatever. Eclipses are very much event-based, so I would not be surprised if major shifts happened and changed for a lot of people watching this video this month. So it's not going to be easy, but I will say is that this, when I was looking through, and I was looking through the transits, the intensity of the month is in the first half of July, and the second half of July is just kind of settling in with the changes that transpire within the first couple weeks, because the first couple weeks are when we have the solar eclipse, which is on the 2nd of July, then we have the lunar eclipse, which is on the 16th of July, then things kind of start to wind down, and all of the other aspects and transits happen within the first couple weeks of July as well. So there's going to be a lot going on, definitely event-based, so certain things are going to be changing, and overall, even though it's going to be tough going through it as it's happening, there is a major breaking free that's happening at this time. Like when I looked at this, I almost like got the visual in my mind of like literally like shackles like being broken, like literally like releasing from an old paradigm or old way of life or outdated relationship or whatever that is, like that's in your life that's been holding you down. And it might be tough to like let go, because it's funny, like even the stuff that isn't working in our life, because like humans are such like weird creatures of habit, sometimes it can be like weird and hard to like let go, like even if something isn't like working or serving us anymore. And this month is huge. It's like definitely this huge release. So we have this solar eclipse that's on July 2nd. And so that's, you know, that's major. And then we have the lunar eclipse as well that's on the 16th. Now, I'm going to focus mostly, you know, on the lunar eclipse, right? So again, like we went back to our two themes, I'm sorry, which is spontaneous surrender. Because with eclipses, like you have no choice but to surrender. It's event based, you have no control over it. You're just kind of along for the ride. And I put number 2, breaking free, because whatever these things are that have been holding you back, that aren't working for you anymore, that are outdated, you're going to be broken free from it. So even though like it might feel like chaos like this month or the first couple weeks of this month, like by September or October, you're going to be looking back at the month of July thinking, thank goodness. Like I didn't know how I was going to get myself out of it. And like, even though, yeah, it was really crazy, like when everything was going down, like I'm away, I'm free, which is, I think, I know that's an amazing feeling to have. So that is my specific interpretations of the general transits this month. So a lot of our cardinal signs are going to be directly affected. So anyone with sun, moon, or ascendant in Cancer, in Capricorn, in Aries, or in Libra, as well as some of our fixed sign peeps. So anyone that has sun, moon, or rising in the first 10 degrees of fixed signs are also going to be affected to a certain degree, and that is Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. So just keep in mind, if you don't know what your sun, moon, or rising is, definitely it's really important to know your exact birth time, because charts change every 4 minutes. So saying, I think I might have been born around 6:30 a.m. doesn't exactly cut it to astrologers. That's why your birth time is so important, because the chart changes every 4 minutes. But you can always go to astro.com if you want. You could look it up. So yeah, and then you could know, right? So what is sun, moon, rising? Maybe you want to know that. If you want to know that, you want me to make a content video about that, leave that below. But this is the gem. We also have Mercury retrograde. We have a Mercury station, and Mercury retrograde is Mercury retrograde is going on through the month of July, right? It's also crazy because when Mercury station's retrograde, it's going to be like conjunct Mars within like a degree, which is like a little bit of intensified Mercury retrograde, I would say. So definitely the volume's turned up there, and it's funny, I always laugh every single time there's Mercury retrograde, and for whatever reason there seems to be Mercury retrograde around eclipse season, but people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, like Mercury retrograde is like making me crazy or whatever. It's like, no, it's because there's 2 eclipses this month, that's why. So if you hear someone saying that, like, yeah, okay, like Mercury retrograde definitely adds to the confusion of like all of these event-based activities that are gonna be happening, but you can thank the eclipses for that. And not necessarily Mercury. Mercury is just going to give an added extra element. But again, that's why by September, October, you're going to be looking back with a clear mindset, being like, wow, thank goodness, like, that is gone. So that's it. I don't really want to get into like super like technical astrological lingo and terms and stuff this month. There is Mercury retrograde. There's like, you know, we have the 2 eclipses. We have the solar eclipse in Cancer, and we have the lunar eclipse in Capricorn. And it's like really just like wiping out old, outdated systems, outdated responsibility, outdated things that we've attached ourselves to that don't serve us. We're done. We're done. We're on to the next one. Let it go. And for those of you that can like release and just accept it and let it go, then it'll do better. Because the things that leave our lives at lunar eclipses are not coming back. Like maybe there's like a I don't know what, like, maybe there's like a 5% chance or something, maybe, depending upon the activity. And like, yeah, I mean, things that generally leave our lives around eclipse time are not coming back. So whether or not it's a relationship, a job, a house, whatever, you know, like it's, you're done. You're done. It's not, it might be hard to see right now. It's not going to serve you for the long term. In a couple months from now, you're going to look back and feel relieved. So anyway, so that's that. I'm just like rambling now at this point. So, okay. But thank you so much for tuning in. And that is everything for this month. Yeah. So hang tight, buckle up in your roller coaster ride. And I will see you on the other side. Thanks so much for tuning in. Cheers.